Okay, so the other day we got into our hives to check out what happened after the whole swarming. One thing we do need to do, we're going to be rendering some wax to coat these frames. So while the swarm hive actually had started building out their whole box, the others were not enjoying these brand new frames because they don't have the wax coating on it. So we're going to render down some wax that we have left over from the honey harvest last year. Wow. And then coat the frames with wax. That way they will be much happier. So this is the wax we had last year after getting all our honey out, the cappings. I will tell you one thing we did was this one had a bunch of extra honey in it while the other was pretty dry. We poured some bourbon in it and let it sit and then strained it out and had honey flavored bourbon. I recommend. I've watched a bunch of different YouTube videos and looked up blogs on how people generally do their wax, and there's kind of a lot of different ways you can do it. So I'm just going to do it one way here. I've never done this before. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but hopefully good. Step one, old pot that you don't care about because you'll never use it for anything ever again. Item number two, some pantyhose. So basically all the methods are you heat up the wax with some water, you strain it either after that or during, you let it cool to separate it from the water, then you take that wax, which is now just wax, and if it's still dirty, you heat it up and strain it again. So we're gonna go for the during straining method and put all the wax in this pantyhose. So I'm just gonna cut them, stuff them, put them in the pot with some water. I don't like pantyhose. I remember I had to wear pantyhose like every Sunday for church, and why? I just don't like them. I don't like pantyhose. I don't like tights. Leggings are okay. I like leggings, but pantyhose, tights, anything that goes over your foot, no thank you. All right, there we go. Okay, we're like only a little bit into this process and already I'm questioning my method. Why not just buy some beeswax? Because you totally could. And we actually had that discussion when we were deciding whether or not we were going to do this. Just because there's so much stuff that you're already doing, like why not just buy some beeswax? Apparently it's not too expensive, even though I feel like it should be. And I think the answer for me is pretty much the same as why not buy all your vegetables from the supermarket? Number one, I know where this came from. I don't have to question it. I don't have to research it. I don't have to wonder if 100% beeswax really means 100% beeswax. Like, I don't have to wonder about how they got it or anything. Just like when you grow your food in your backyard, you know where it came from. You know that you didn't use pesticides on it. You know all of the stuff about it and that's healthy and good. Number two, we are working towards self-sufficiency, and this comes from here. Anything I can have that stays within this loop is good. And I mean, come on, I'm not trying to pretend like we're doing, I mean, if you look at my kitchen, if you look at my house, like we get a lot of stuff not from our own property. That's just the way it is. But as much as I can, I would like to. Number three, it's a skill. I want to learn these skills. Just like how I now know how to make sourdough bread, cooking, and all that kind of stuff. Like, skills are good. Making beeswax is a skill. And number, I don't remember what number we're on. Zombie apocalypse. Once the zombie apocalypse comes, I can't just order beeswax. I'm gonna have to do it from my own hives. So, though we will be doing this outside at this point in time over an open flame because I won't have electricity during the zombie apocalypse, as you know. So we're just gonna tie this up now. Woof, look at that. Look at that. I guess I should try to push it down further. Does it matter? I don't know if that really matters. Whatever. I was going to try to push it down a little bit further because I did see one woman talking about you don't want to lose too much wax in the pantyhose. But, you know, oh my gosh. Done is better than perfect. So the question is, should we cut this part off? Just let it be like a little floating beeswax potato. All right, let's go lumpy wax potato. We'll just make sure to keep an eye on it, make sure nothing goes wrong. It's starting to do something. Let's squeeze a little bit of this. I think we got most of the wax out. I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna let this cool now, and then it should separate and the wax should all float to the top and make a sheet of wax that then we can remove. Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, everybody was very clear that you do not want to dump this water down your sink, so we're gonna take it outside. That looks like a very strange loaf of cornbread. Kind of sad to break it up. Oh, interesting. Just want to melt it, gently melt it. Kind of come up with a way to keep this on. So part of it tied here, part of it is hooked here, other part's just tucked into the back. This could go really wrong, but hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be fine. Ew. Pretty. So that is like pure beeswax. None of your beeswax. I have to say that once. This is actually really good, like super clean. You could do stuff with this, but we're not making candles or anything. We are just gonna put it on frame. All right, I'm putting out newspaper because obviously wax, it's messy. When we did this before, we used like a small paint roller, but we don't have the right kind of paint roller, so I'm just gonna use a paintbrush, one of these two. I don't have time to go get something, so we need to do this today. All right. I don't know if we're gonna have enough wax to do each frame. There's 10 of these. Okay, so obviously the more coated the better, but I just don't have that much wax. So even having a little bit on there will give them a little bit of help. They just really don't like it when it doesn't have wax on it. See, on this one they had started building out some comb, but just not a fan of it. So this is an instance where maybe we do need to buy some beeswax, and that's okay. Like, there's no shame in getting stuff from the store. Like, obviously if I couldn't grow all my own food, which I don't, I have no problem going and buying food from the store. I'm not just gonna be like, starve family, I have not produced it, you can't have it. So we're all working on upping our skills and resources. So I'm gonna have to go a little light on these, and they're just gonna have to deal with it. Done is better than perfect. This is the last frame I did, not very much coverage, but I'm all out of wax. There are two that didn't get wax on them, but that is okay. We will need to buy more wax because I have another whole deep that needs to be waxed, and I think 2 supers. Hives look different from the last time you saw them. They are all shorter, and that's because we actually came out and finally looked to see what was going on. Quick recap, this was our original box. In an attempt to not let them swarm, we split the hive. Also, we got this box. Didn't work, they still swarmed. Caught the swarm and put them in this box. The numbers of bees was obviously a lot lower since our original had been basically divided into 3 different parts. And maybe we lost some more to swarming, we're not really sure. There were a ton of queen cells. This middle box, when we looked in the other day, had 2 queens in it, so I'm not sure what's going on. We took off the deeps. Interestingly, in this hive, they were skipping the second deep and just making honey in the super, so we let them keep the super. But now we're ready to go ahead and place that deep with the wax on here. There's that deep we just put all the wax on. I look a little bit like a wuss standing here in a full thing while you're doing this with nothing. So that's it. Look at that one. That's like, there's some that look like all black.
Listen, forgot we're filming, so you can't use any of this.
All right, well, that was the thing we had to get done today. Thanks for coming over and helping out.